It was a quiet Sunday morning on the Isle of Sodor, and Emily was sitting at Kelsthorpe Road waiting to depart for Knapford. Despite the hit era being long behind us now, the Sterling single could still be a bit crabby sometimes.
Come on, driver! This is ridiculous! We should have left 45 minutes ago!
Be patient, old girl. I thought I told you that there have been reports of a fallen tree further along the main line, and the signalman held us here to be on the safe side.
Does it look like I give a shit? We're going anyway!
Emily's driver tried to reason with his engine, but it was no use. Somehow, she managed to override her cruise control, and rolled away from the station feeling very pleased with herself. Meanwhile, Stanley was busy shunting at Cronk station, after the Fat Controller had asked him to cover for Dennis again. As he was arranging some 7 planks, the silver saddle tank heard an unfamiliar whistle off in the distance. I wonder who that could be. He found out soon enough, as the NWR's number 12 came to a sudden halt by the yard. Now she was even more annoyed than ever, as the driver had finally managed to take back control. Good morning, Emily. Wait, that is your name, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, that's a relief. I just wanted to make sure because I don't remember ever meeting you before. In any case, I knew you were due to pass by today, but I wasn't expecting you to stop.
Well, that makes 2 of us.
Dare I ask what happened?
Something about a fallen tree on the line ahead, as if I didn't already have enough things getting on my nerves today.
Surely you wouldn't want to run into a tree, especially after what James said about the trouble with trees. In any case, at least none of your wagons are carrying an essential delivery of timber to repair another barn roof.
That's as may be, Stanley, but this lot on my train is still important, and the shopkeepers in Tidmouth and Knapford won't half be annoyed if they don't get their stock in the morning. I'm tired of these stupid disruptions. They're so annoying they could give what I've heard about roadworks in New Zealand a run for its money.
Well, it could be worse. At least you didn't crash into a pond while hauling another flower train.
Oh God, don't remind me.
As for the tree, I dare say Topham will dispatch Harvey to clear it up before too long. But I guess we'll just have to sit here for the time being. One wonders what to discuss when stranded in the yard.
That reminds me, Stanley, did you ever hear about the time when a coal train went along the Canterbury Plains on a windy day?
No, I haven't. Dare I ask what happened?
Well, the wagons didn't have rooftop hatches, and the wind blew coal dust all over the nearby houses. You could say that the locals ended up with a dusty Springfield!
That joke was so cheesy I could call it Double Gloucester, although it does remind me of a locomotive I knew in my younger days. She was an example of the London and North Western Railway A class, a type of 080 tender engine built between 1893 and 1900.
Oh, really? Please tell me more.
The 2 of us used to work on a branch line that ran to the seaside town of Esthwaite. I would sometimes shunt coal wagons just up the line from a station called Colton, and my friend would haul them down to Esthwaite docks for the ships. Unfortunately, some of our shed mates routinely took the piss out of her, claiming that she sounded drunk with only 2 exhaust chuffs per wheel rotation. Cornwall and Queen Empress were especially nasty, but I soon put those bullies in their place.
Good on you, Stanley. Dare say this friend of yours couldn't help it.
Yes indeed, Emily. It's just how the A-Class was designed, with the exhaust from the 2 outer cylinders being funneled into the large inside cylinder.
Speaking of that middle cylinder, it's probably the only thing I don't like about the A-Class.
I suppose that's fair enough.
Anyway, may I ask what your mate's name was?
Her full name was Rebecca.
Wait, what? I thought that was the name of our resident bully, Pacific.
The bullied's name is spelt slightly differently from the engine I remember. She spelt her name as Rebekah.
Oh, I see. Whatever happened to her after you came to Sodor?
From what I recall, she was the only member of her class to not be rebuilt as a C, C1 or D class. She remained in service right up until the 1930s, by which time the Stevenson Locomotive Society managed to save her for preservation. She's based at Kingswear now, which is a bit odd considering that that's not LNWR territory. But regardless, she still gets to hold the occasional rail tour. I even got to visit her home line a few times 3 years ago. It was the first time we had met since our days at Esthwaite.
Oh, she don't half sound lucky. I thought all the A's had been scrapped or rebuilt.
Well, like the old saying goes, you learn something new every day. On one of those visits, I recall the 2 of us sitting in a siding at Chairston and listening to, of all songs, Telegraph Road by Dire Straits.
That sounds nice. Although I prefer Over My Head by Toni Basil myself.
Each to their own, I suppose. The sad thing is that I have barely heard from Rebecca since we last met. And that was a long time ago now, so for all I know, she may have completely forgotten about me.
Doesn't that upset you?
It sorta does, yes, but these things come and go, and I'm grateful for her being a friend at all. I always thought that a humble 060 saddle tank like me wasn't good enough for a well-regarded and hard-working tender engine like her.
Well, in that case, consider yourself very lucky.
I will. Sometimes, when I've got some downtime, I like to go trundling down the Kirk Ronan branch and remember the days when I used to work with Rebecca. It's like a person walking through the park and reminiscing, in a sense.
Well, I hope you don't get too distracted and end up reenacting Gordon's ridiculous crashing into the station wall routine.
I haven't done that yet, but I'd rather not do it at all, in all honesty. I don't mean to blast my own whistle, as it were, but I like to think that I'm too good to be a station demolition man. And with that being said, Stanley and Emily continued chatting as there wasn't much else to do. It wasn't until later that night when the fallen tree was finally cleared, after which the 2 engines went back to Knapford together. Emily was feeling better after her conversation with Stanley, but secretly, she was still dreading what the shopkeepers in Knapford would have to say about the delay. As for Sodor's resident Silver 060, and despite how far away he was from his old friend, he was still grateful for the memories that he had made with her, and knew to cherish said memories for the rest of his days.